What a year it was to be a toy fan, a geek, pop culture fan. We had episode one, the first time we had a new Star Wars movie since, well, unless you count the Battle for Endor, the Caravan of Courage, since, 1983. And yeah, I was right there in the thick of it, waiting in line. I slept out 3 nights on an inflatable Millennium Falcon. Granted, my two best friends slept out for like almost a week and a half. I joined them when I drove down from college. But this was going to be the event. This was going to be, 1999's pop culture event. You had to be there to experience it. And honestly, I had a great time. I regret nothing. It was so much fun to, spend 3 nights, honestly, with fanatical Star Wars fans just waiting for this movie. And, we had so much hope that it was going to be amazing. And I was there with my electronic Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber, and I had my Mace Windu preview action figure I sent away for, and the excitement was just at a complete boiling point. This was going to be the sci-fi event of our lives, and then we saw the movie. And, it was okay. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was not, obviously we had high expectations. But that summer, there was another sci-fi movie. A little bit of a different sci-fi movie, one that was more aimed at adults. It was R-rated. It obviously had, guns and violence and, cartwheels, things that only adults should see. I was in college when The Matrix came out. I remember almost everybody had this poster in their dorm room or in their apartment, and this was the sci-fi movie of 1999 that changed pop culture. We all expected it to be Phantom Menace, but it turned out with not just the amazing technology and, the whole bullet time thing and all the special effects that were really groundbreaking, the way the original Star Wars was groundbreaking. The Matrix kind of walked away with all of that. And yes, I know that as the Matrix sequels, the trilogy, or now I guess it's the quadrilogy, what are 4 movies called? Series, I guess at this point. I know that not as many people are fans of the original Matrix sequels. And, vis-a-vis, I could understand that, but I gotta say, I really like them. I like watching both the sequels back to back as just one long, 4-hour movie. I don't know. I feel like it works really great like that. Now, I haven't seen the new one yet. Probably I will. It's tough when you've got, young children. Well, if you're familiar with this YouTube concept, which you probably are since you're watching YouTube, well, there are a lot of videos about the Matrix on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of videos about everything that's big in pop culture, from Lord of the Rings to, I Love Lucy. I don't know. Bad example. But yeah, the videos on YouTube about the Matrix are sort of all over the place. They have, there's the conspiracy videos talking about living in the Matrix. There's the ones that with the hidden messaging. There's the ones with the Easter eggs. And, then of course there's the ones that contradict themselves, like videos about how Neo, of course, is the one, and then Neo not being the one. All right, well, either way, there's not really a video on YouTube about the book about the Matrix. And no, I'm not talking about the comic or a book adaptation or anything like that. I'm actually talking about this book. This is one of my favorite books. It's by Jean Baudrillard, pardon my French accent, Simulacra and Simulation. It is it's not exactly a page turner, but it is a thought turner. It's one of those books you have to sort of read multiple times to kind of get. So this is Jean. He published this book in 1981. And we're going to get into some, deep shit here. So hang on to your, potatoes here, because this is deep. It's like, how deep the rabbit hole goes. Now, so Jean Baudrillard based a lot of his work on ancient philosophy, ancient Greek philosophy, other thoughts. This isn't all completely his original idea, and he is absolutely, forward about that. But it's all about, 2 concepts: simulation, the idea of a process of something that replaces the real, that, it's like a holodeck, right? And then simulacra, this is where ancient philosophy, Plato, came up with this idea, the idea of a false copy, the idea of something that's fake, that's there to represent what's thought of as hyper-reality, reality that's more real than real. And I know you're like, wait, what are you talking about? And this is a toy channel. Why are we talking about the Matrix? Well, obviously we also talk about pop culture. So something like The Fifth Element was a good example of hyper reality, right? Where everything's just in your face. and how hyperreality relates to simulacrum and reality is at the heart of his theory and his philosophy. So it all starts with Plato. No, not Plato. Plato, the philosopher. And you may or may not be familiar with the concept of Plato's cave, right?
The cave.
This cave. The cave where humanity, represented by those people tied up there, are in a cave, and the only thing they can see are the shadows reflected by a fire behind them. What this is symbolic of is the idea that the shadows that they're seeing on the wall of the cave is the only reality they've ever known. So they assume that the shadows that's just reality. That's what the world is. They have no idea that they're actually prisoners in this cave looking at shadows. I mean, this isn't obviously a real event. It's a philosophical discussion. And the idea is a hero comes along, if you will, the chosen one, and this person breaks free from the chains and is able to escape the cave and go into the real world. Boy, this is starting to sound more and more like The Matrix, isn't it? And when they escape and see the real world and realize that the world is not shadows reflected on a cave wall, well, then it's their job to then come back into the cave and explain to people, and if you will, free their mind and show them that the shadows are not reality and that there's a bigger world out there. So Baudrillard really played off of this concept and incorporated a lot of modern thinking, modern technology, and looked at the way modern technology is really creating this fake world around us. And one of my favorite examples he uses in the book is Disneyland. And you might be like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like Disneyland in like a highfalutin philosophy book? Well, it all comes to the idea of reality is fake. Everything in reality is fake. Let's just go with that premise, right? Well, if reality is fake, and I'm not talking like, fake celebrities, I'm talking about everything you see around you. Disneyland actually represents reality. You're like, wait a minute, it's the opposite. Disneyland is fantasy. All right, here's the spin, and here's how to easily sort of understand it. So he talks about America surrounding Disneyland, and Disneyland presented as imaginary in order to make us believe the rest of the world is real. So look at Frontierland, right? Frontierland is meant to represent the Old West in America, right? And it's an idealized version of the Old West. It is not just trying to be the Old West, it's trying to be a fake Old West. Like it's not, no one thinks they're actually in the Old West. They believe they're in a fake Old West when they visit Frontierland, with fake mountains, fake buildings, fake railroad tracks. So in other words, Frontierland, all of Disneyland, succeeds in being fake. What it's trying to do is be fake. It's trying to have create a fake Old West. So the fakeness is success. In other words, Disneyland, in trying not to be real, but purposely trying to create a fake reality, is more real than real. I know. Let that sink in for a moment. I know it's a heavy thing, and it definitely oversimplifies it a bit. But that's really the crux of his argument, is that you should be giving awards to things that are fake because they're succeeding in what they want to do, versus reality can never do that, because reality can never be as real as the fakeness of Disneyland. Okay, let's leave that thought on the table for a moment. There's obviously a lot of things that influence The Matrix, from kung fu movies to anime. But one of those influences is actually part of The Matrix, right? I know that might be a hard thought to believe.
No. I don't believe it.
So when the directors were gathering the cast together to make the original movie, the first Matrix, they had required reading. It was actually quite a large stack of books that they wanted every single cast member to read. And we all know that Sean Connery was one of the people that was being considered for a role in the franchise, but because everyone knows that he can't read English because of the attack on his village by koala ninjas when he was a child, so he obviously had to pass. But the cast did read the book, And one of the things talked about in the book is the desert of the real itself. Ah, that kind of sounds like something that I've heard before.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
So yes, Baudrillard is deliberately in the film, not just being quoted by Morpheus there. That book that Neo has that he keeps the computer chips in his cache, yeah, look at what book that is. So the book itself is the centerpiece of the film. It's where Neo keeps his information and his secrets. This wasn't just trying to hide. No, they deliberately used Baudrillard's ideas. So I definitely recommend the book. It is not an easy read, but it's worthwhile, and it really is enlightening. And hey, you'll never look at the Matrix the same way again, or Disneyland, or even reality. It really does change your perspective, and I highly recommend it. Let me know what you think. I know this video is a little different from the usual toy videos I do, but let me know what you think. If you like this kind of video, and let me know in the comments below. I can always make more videos like this, or just stick to toys. I try to read all the comments, and I appreciate sharing this video around with others. It's the best way to support this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.